Good evening. I am Josephine Oluyole. Reading with me is
Aditoke Oluyole.
We are both bringing you Newscope, our daily news program of in-depth reports, interviews, and commentaries. First, the highlights. Insecurity, reps summon service chiefs, finance minister, others.
Federal government admits inflation insecurity as major challenges.
Oyo Assembly calls for enhanced security in public schools.
Hundreds of aftershocks hit Philippines after deadly earthquake.
Now the details. The House of Representatives has passed a resolution to summon the Minister of Defense, Christopher Musa, service chiefs, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Tunji Disu, and the Director General of the State Security Service, DSS, Adeola Ajayi, to appear before it to outline details of funds released to the security agencies in the last 6 months. Others invited include the Minister of Finance, Taiwo Yedele, and the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, NIA, Muhammad. The Green Chamber also urged President Bola Tinubu to direct the recruitment of forest guards in all states experiencing any form of insecurity, as he did in Oyo State. Tuesday's resolutions followed motions of insecurity received in the House. The resolutions came amid rising insecurity in several parts of the country.
The federal government today acknowledged that inflation and insecurity remain major challenges facing Nigerians, even as it defended the economic reforms introduced by President Tinubu's administration over the past 3 years. Akume said this today in Abuja at a national press conference organized to commemorate the 2026 Democracy Day celebration. He said that the administration of President Tinubu would not claim to have solved all nations' challenges, adding that it was, however, committed to pursuing reforms with diligence, purpose, and compassion. Akume acknowledged that insecurity still posed threats to lives and livelihoods, but noted that the president shared in the pains of Nigerians and that efforts being made by the administration were already yielding positive results. The SGF also said that Tinubu administration has spent the last 3 years implementing the Renewed Hope agenda aimed at economic recovery, stability, social welfare, security, human capital development, healthcare, food security, and infrastructure development.
The Inspector General of Police, IGP Olatunji Disu, today ordered the deployment of Deputy Inspectors General of Police, DIJs, to the 6 geopolitical zones in a major move to secure the release of students recently abducted in Oyo State. IGP Disu said the development is also aimed at strengthening operational efficiency, enhancing supervision, and improving coordination in the fight against crime. Speaking during a conference with senior police officers at the Force Headquarters, Abuja, the IGP described the abduction as sad and assured Nigerians that the police force, in collaboration with other security agencies, is fully committed to ensuring the safe rescue of the victims. IGP Disu disclosed that substantial progress had been made in ongoing rescue operations and expressed confidence that the abducted students will be reunited with their families unharmed. As part of broader reforms to strengthen policing nationwide, the police chief announced that the deployment of DIJs to the 6 geopolitical zones would commence on the 15th of June.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Wahidi Shahibu, says misinformation and hostile propaganda have become major security threats, underscoring the need for stronger collaboration between the military and the media. Shuaibu said this today in Abuja at the opening of the Directorate of Army Public Relations, DAPR, Combined First and Second Quarters Media Workshop 2026, represented by the Chief of Civil Military Affairs, Army Major General Musa Itsu Ndagi. The Chief of Army Staff said that the modern adversaries increasingly relied on misinformation and psychological operations to undermine public confidence. He noted that effective media engagement had therefore become a force multiplier in joint and multi-agency security operations. According to him, the evolving security environment required stronger military media partnerships to counter fake news, hostile narratives, and other forms of information disorder capable of undermining national security efforts. He also said that public support remained a strategic necessity for operational success, stating that effective communication helped in strengthening cooperation between security agencies and citizens.
The Oyo State House of Assembly has called on the executive arm of government to strengthen security in all public primary and secondary schools across the state through the deployment of Amotekun Corps to safeguard teachers, students and educational facilities. The call followed a motion presented by Honorable Oluyole, representing Ibadan Southwest 2 constituency, on the floor of the House. According to him, with over 3,000 public primary and secondary schools operating in the state, adequate attention must be given to securing both public and private schools. He also urged the executive to make adequate budgetary provision for the recruitment, training and deployment of additional Amotekun personnel specifically assigned to school protection duties. In their contributions, the Speaker of the House, Honorable Adebo Ogundoyin, and other lawmakers emphasized the need for urgent government action to safeguard public schools across the state.
Commercial motorcycle and tricycle operators found violating the state government's movement restriction order between 10:30 p.m. and 5:30 a.m. will face prosecution through the mobile court. The chairman of the Oyo State Road Traffic Management Authority, OITMA, Major Adekoya Adeshagba, retired, made this known while featuring on BCOS Current Affairs television program, Kutuai. Bode Akinjola monitored the program and compiled this report as presented by Adebayo Abdurrafi.
Latest edition of BCOS Current Affairs program, Kutuai, focused on the implementation of the recently signed executive orders aimed at improving safety and traffic management across Oyo State. Speaking on the program, the chairman, Oyo State Road Traffic Management Authority, OITMA, Major Adekoya Adeshagba, retired, explained that Executive Order 002 was introduced to address traffic violations, particularly the dangerous practice of driving against traffic, popularly known as one-way. According to him, offenders driving against traffic risk a penalty of 100,000 naira, while commercial motorcycle operators found culpable will pay 50,000 naira fine. He further stated that Executive Order 002 restricts the movement of commercial motorcycles and tricycles between 10:30 p.m. and 5:30 a.m. across the state.
It's an enhanced law, that order. Secondly, specify that commercial motorcycles and tricycles are prohibited from operating from 10:30 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. in the morning. And they also talked about every vehicles to be duly registered and have their number plate affixed on their vehicles or motorcycles at all time. It clearly details that all Okada riders and tricycles must register with biometrics.
Major Adeshagba, retired, noted that OITMA has restructured its operational procedures to enhance efficiency and compliance with traffic regulations. He added that the agency now collaborates with other security agencies through joint patrol operations to strengthen enforcement and ensure public safety. The OITMA chairman also warned motorists against covering vehicle number plates, stressing that such an offense attracts sanctions. He urged vehicle dealers to always affix valid dealer number plates to vehicles intended for sale.
We know our times in Nigeria, in Oyo State. We know the prevailing security issues in our society, and this is just to curtail the excesses of some of these commercial Okadas and tricycles used to perpetrate these heinous crimes, to reduce that act. And it is absolutely that we are going to move quickly. We started since Saturday to ensure that people comply with this order is absolute obedience and compliance.
Also featuring on the program, the state chairman of the Amalgamated Commercial Motorcycle Owners and Riders Association of Nigeria, Akomaran, Comrade Solomon Oluyole, expressed support for the executive orders. He, however, appealed to the government to engage stakeholders and leaders of commercial motorcycle operators in future policy formulations affecting the sector.
So we have found ourselves now, it is more dangerous even in the afternoon, talk less of night. So the order is just to make sure everybody is safe. They stay in their home and stay peacefully. They can resume back to work the following day.
Comrade Oluyole also called on the judiciary to ensure prompt prosecution of suspects arraigned before the courts, saying this would serve as a deterrent to offenders.
We are also victim of this insecurity, and I believe so many people are actually interpreting the intention of the government. The intention of the government is to protect the life of Okada riders and all citizens of Oyo State. It's not that the government is discriminating the Okada riders. So the law is to make sure that everybody stays home and safe, so that those who are in charge of security can take over the night for this time.
It will be recalled that Governor Seyi Makinde recently signed Executive Order 002 as part of efforts to regulate commercial motorcycle operations and improve security and road safety across Oyo State.
Security experts have called on government at all levels to demonstrate greater commitment to the fight against terrorism by adopting proactive measures to tackle insecurity and ensure the rescue of victims held in captivity. The call was made during an analysis of the recent Elewura abduction rescue operation on BCOS television's current affairs program, Matters Arising. Our reporter Olamide Olabi monitored the program and now reports.
The recent rescue of the sister of former Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabu, and her 3 sons who were abducted in Ibadan has continued to generate public discourse on the country's security challenges. Speaking on Matters Arising, a forensic and security expert, Dr. Wale Ayedun, questioned the demolition of the building where the victims were reportedly held before the completion of forensic investigation. According to him, the action may have led to the destruction of vital evidence that could have aided security agencies in uncovering wider criminal networks. Dr. Ayedun further suggested that to minimize collateral damage during risk rescue operations, particularly in areas such as Oluyole, security agencies should consider alternative tactical approaches, including infiltration strategies and deployment of non-lethal incapacitated agents.
Most of the crime that are happening now, these people have been in our midst, study our terrain. I've been here on several occasions telling the government that these people bring in motorcycles from the north. We should be wary of them. Nobody's acted on it. They will go to Sabo in the middle of the night, offload all the motorcycles to come and do what here? They will give them new machine from the north. They load it into the trailer and drop them here to come and do what? Now the landlord that collected the money for these people at Soka now, he has lost his house, lost the land. He cannot go there again. He will still answer to what the crime these people committed. The agent is in trouble now. Why can't you act when you're supposed to act? So you don't wait. Then people should have first line of defense, not that you just wait until the crime happens. You should have a first line of defense. Defend yourself.
Analyzing the operation from a legal perspective, legal practitioner Dr. Sam Olonfemi argued that existing laws in Oyo State are not stringent enough to serve as an effective deterrent against kidnapping. He advocated the imposition of capital punishment for convicted kidnappers, stressing that stronger sanctions could help curb the menace. Dr. Olonfemi described terrorism as a manifestation of the collective failure of governments, security agencies and the citizenry, noting that the politicization of security matters has further complicated efforts to address the challenge. Commenting on the abduction in the Rive axis, he expressed concern over what he described as the federal government's inadequate response, questioning the significance of official visits to affected communities without corresponding concrete actions.
You are not sure of even what comes out, because look at even Nigeria now. We don't have even enough law for this banditry. It's the same law that is required for kidnapping that is being used for banditry. And they are not the same offenses, even with the way it is in Nigeria. But it's regarded as a heinous, offense. So some of these bandits that have been caught, they said the equipments with them were given. Some of them even from NSA's office. I read 400 names were given to Nigeria, names of people related financiers of this banditry. Government could not do anything about them. Look at Gumi, what he's saying. He opens his mouth to say, and he walks freely on the street. And government could not do anything about it. When they see an innocent person just passing by, they say, we caught one of the informers. Is the informer we're asking them to catch for us?
The analyst called for stronger collaboration between security agencies and local communities, emphasizing that intelligence gathering and community participation will be critical in addressing insecurity across the country. Olamide Owolabi, BCOS News.
This broadcast of Newscope comes to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, Ibadan. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, has called on businesses to embrace transparency, fair competition, and consumer protection as key drivers of sustainable economic growth. Head of the FCCPC in the state, Mr. Akinyosoye Olawale, made the call during the Commission's first anniversary celebration in Ibadan. Mr. Olawale described Nigeria's cultural diversity, creativity, and entrepreneurial spirit as important economic assets that should be protected through fair market practices. He said the Commission's objective is not to hinder legitimate businesses, but to ensure that markets function effectively, allowing compliant enterprises to thrive while consumers transact with confidence. The FCCPC head urged businesses to view compliance not as a burden but as a competitive advantage, stressing that transparent pricing, prompt complaint resolution, and accurate product representation help build customer loyalty and credibility.
The Senate has asked the federal government to impose an outright ban on the importation of foreign textile materials as part of efforts to revive Nigeria's struggling textile industry and stimulate local cotton production. The upper chamber also urged the federal government through the Ministry of Agriculture, Trade and Investment to take urgent steps to resuscitate textile manufacturing across the country, particularly along the Kaduna-Kano industrial corridor, citing its potential to create jobs and address rising youth unemployment and insecurity. The resolutions followed the adoption of a motion titled Urgent Need to Revive the Textile Industries in Nigeria, with particular reference to the Kaduna-Kano axis, sponsored by Senator Sunday Katung, APC Kaduna South, and co-sponsored by several lawmakers across party and regional lines. Presenting the motion, Senator Katung recalled that Nigeria's first large-scale textile manufacturing mill was established in Kaduna in 1957, a development that later spread to other regions and contributed significantly to industrial growth and employment generation. The senator expressed concern that more than 6 decades after the industrial's golden era, Nigeria's textile sector has deteriorated significantly, leaving the once thriving industrial facilities abandoned and reducing the industry to one of the weakest segments of the nation's manufacturing sector. Lawmakers who supported the motion underpinned the need for deliberate government intervention to restore the industry's competitiveness, boost local production, reduce dependence on imports, and create sustainable employment opportunities for Nigerians.
President Tinubu has inaugurated the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission's Ekiti Zonal Directorate Office, reaffirming its administration's commitment to strengthening anti-corruption institutions and promoting transparency in public service. President Tinubu described corruption as one of the biggest obstacles to Nigeria's development, stressing that the nation's progress depends largely on the integrity of its public institutions and governance systems. The president, who was represented by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, noted that fight against corruption must be sustained through strong institutions, adequate resources, and conducive working environment for law enforcement agencies. He said the FCC was established to protect the nation's economy from criminal enterprises and preserve public trust in government, stating that the commission occupies a strategic position in Nigeria's economic reform and national security framework. The president commended the FCC chairman, Oluyole, for his leadership and dedication to the anti-corruption campaign, describing the agency's recent achievements as evidence of its growing effectiveness.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has warned that recent court rulings affecting aspects of its timetable and schedule of activities for the 2027 general elections could disrupt preparations for the polls if not urgently clarified by appellate courts. INEC Chairman Professor Joash Amokwitan raised the concerns today during the Commission's second quarterly consultative meeting with leaders of political parties in Abuja. Professor Amokwitan disclosed that the Commission had already filed appeals against two judgments of the Federal High Court which questioned certain timeliness contained in INEC's timetable for the 2027 elections. According to him, while the Commission respects the decisions of the courts, the judgments raise significant legal questions regarding the extent of INEC's constitutional and statutory powers to coordinate and regulate electoral activities.
Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission has set June 26, 2026 for the release of access codes that will allow political parties to begin uploading candidates' details for the 2027 general elections through its nomination portal. The announcement was made in Abuja today by the Commission's chairman, Professor Joash Amokwitan, during a quarterly meeting with leaders of registered political parties. He said the steps follows the completion of party primaries on May 30th, 2026. According to him, the access codes will be issued to authorized national officers of each political party, who will be responsible for uploading nominees' biodata and other required information into the system. Professor Amokwitan cautioned that the process must be taken seriously, urging parties to ensure their ICT personnel are fully prepared ahead of the exercise, as deadlines will be strictly enforced.
On the foreign scene, hundreds of aftershocks have jolted southern Philippines after a magnitude 7.8 earthquake left dozens of people dead and hundreds more injured. The scale of devastation on Meteco Island is becoming clear as emergency responders reach coastal cities and towns. Officials fear the death toll, which currently stands at 37 dead and 487 injured, could rise. Buildings have collapsed and roads are either cracked or buried in landslides. Large swathes of the island still have no electricity or telephone connectivity. The earthquake, which struck on Monday morning, triggered tsunami warnings in Indonesia, south of Mindanao, and across Japan's Pacific coast, displacing tens of thousands of people. Close to 2,000 homes and 6,000 public schools have been damaged by the estimates so far. The Philippines is routinely struck by earthquakes and volcanic eruptions because it lies on the so-called Pacific Ring of Fire, where there is increased seismic activity.
To end this edition of Newscope, here again are the main points. The House of Representatives has passed a resolution to summon the Minister of Defense, Christopher Musa, service chiefs, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Tunji Disu, and the Director General of the State Security Service, DSS, Adiola Ajayi, to appear before it to outline details of funds released to the security agencies in the last 6 months.
The federal government today acknowledged that inflation and insecurity remain major challenges facing Nigerians, even as it defended the economic reforms introduced by President Tinubu's administration over the past 3 years.
The Oyo State House of Assembly has called on the executive arm of government to strengthen security in all public primary and secondary schools across the state through the deployment of Amotekun Corps to safeguard teachers, students and educational facilities.
Hundreds of aftershocks have jolted southern Philippines after a magnitude 7.8 earthquake left dozens of people dead and hundreds more injured.
If you see something suspicious, alert the authorities immediately for timely response. Be vigilant. And that's all from the Newscope desk for now. It was packaged by Kendi Adeyemi and delivered by
Josephine Oluwabome. Good evening.
And Aditoke Olaleye. Thank you for listening, and do not forget to tune in for the Yoruba version at 8 p.m.
Oluyole 98.5 FM 98.5 FM.
Ibi gíga Olúyọ̀lé là ń gbọ́ tó bá jẹ́ tètò tó nítumọ̀. Olúyọ̀lé là ń gbọ́ tó bá jẹ́ tètò tó pín-mìrì.
Yémọ̀já Mọ̀túndé lọ́dún ní o, èkúrú rẹ̀ rèé o, obì rẹ̀ rèé o, ègbò rẹ̀ rèé o, májì àtúríjà omi yalé mọ́ o. Yémọ̀já nìkan ká bẹ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ abẹ́ra wa, bá a bá ti dalẹ̀ sójú àgbàrá mọ́ omi ò ní yalé wa.